Hey everybody, William DiMaggio here with the Hood team at Coldwell Banker Realty. I am joined today by Mr. Matthew Sullivan from Harvey Vallini, a wonderful attorney here in town. So, Matt, thanks for joining us.
My pleasure. Thanks for the invite.
Wanted to talk today a little bit about title insurance and see what kind of tips and guidance you can give people out there when it comes to title insurance. So, my first question would be, what is title insurance?
Sure. Title insurance. In South Carolina, when you buy property, you get title to the property. Sometimes called the deed, says you own the property. Title insurance ensures that you own the property. It insures against defects in that title that may have occurred in the past, but we don't know about at the time of the closing when you're purchasing the property.
Okay. All right. So why would you say that it's important for a buyer to seriously consider getting a title insurance policy?
Well, the number one reason is you're making for most of our clients, purchasing home, it's the number one financial investment you're making in your life. So why would you not want to insure it?
Sure.
There are defects. Obviously, as a closing attorney, when you retain us, we look to try to make sure there are no defects in the title, but this comes as a shock. Us lawyers are not perfect. We make mistakes, or worse, there are things that happen in the past that we are not able to determine a defect that happened in the past. Okay. By way of example, there could be a deed in maybe 10 years ago that was signed. It's in the chain of title, and I look at it and it looks, yep, that looks good. But then someone comes out of the woodwork and says, I didn't sign that deed. Someone forged it. I'm still the owner of the property. That's an example of what title insurance protects you from, because there's no way for me to look at a signature and say, oh, that's a forgery. There's no way. I rely on the prior attorneys in the chain to have done what they're supposed to do to make sure that was the actual person signing it, or it might have been a deed with no attorney involved, and there's no way for us to know.
Gotcha. So it sounds like a good way to protect yourself in the event that a mistake was made in the past.
Absolutely. And it's very different than any other type of insurance. I say all the time with automobile insurance, if you have a car accident yesterday and you buy automobile insurance today, it's not going to insure you for the accident you had yesterday.
Right.
That's what most people think about insurance. Title insurance is very different. Title insurance is the only insurance that insures you for things that happened in the past.
Gotcha.
It's just that we don't know about it.
Gotcha. Okay. Fair enough. That sounds great. So can you tell me what the lender is going to make you get title insurance as a buyer for them? Correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So that right there, and I've said this to clients, that should tell you that it's important, because a major financial institution or lender is not going to make you buy them title insurance if they didn't think it was important. They don't want to put extra burdens on you to get the loan. They want to get the transaction done, right? So title insurance protects, lender's title insurance only protects the lender.
Okay.
They have a mortgage, which is an interest in your property. You're pledging your property as collateral for the loan. Well, if it gets shown that you don't own the property, then the lender has just lost their collateral for the loan. So they want to have that collateral protected. So if that ever happens, they can make a claim and get their mortgage paid off.
Gotcha.
That does nothing for you.
Okay.
As the buyer. As the buyer, your equity is exposed if you don't have title insurance. If it's ever shown you're not own the property because there was some title defect and you're not the owner, the person who sold it to you wasn't the owner, or there's some other person over here that's the owner, the title insurance is what protects your investment.
Gotcha. So with that, you've got lender's title insurance, and then you've also got an owner's title insurance that a buyer will have the option to get, right?
Yeah, so lenders is usually never an option. It's not legally required. It's just you're not going to get a loan. It's an underwriting requirement. If you don't buy the lender title insurance, they're not going to give you the loan. Owner's coverage is optional. Now, we strongly recommend they get title insurance in South Carolina. It's like I tell my clients all the time, I made my parents buy title insurance when they come here. Too many mistakes have happened over the years. And as we have settled east to west across the country, as far as I've been taught in my legal education, out west, they've kind of learned from our mistakes on the East Coast, so they do things a little differently with recording of deeds and all that maybe it's a little less risky out west. Definitely not on the East Coast. I mean, I've in my 20 years of practicing, I've run into title issues that have arisen because of the Civil War, where land records got burned by Sherman coming through South Carolina, and that's not a joke. I mean, that has literally happened. So,
gotcha.
That's why we recommend title insurance, among other things. And then the cost is not very much. You're going to have to buy lender's title insurance coverage,
right?
And that's going to be based on the amount of coverage the lender's requiring. It's set by the Department of Insurance. To add on an owner's policy at the same time often can be as low as $100. And just to be clear to your clients, that's a one-time premium paid at closing. You never pay again. It's not like automobile or health insurance where you're having it taken out of your paycheck every month, or you're making a payment every month. It's a one-time payment, good for a lifetime of coverage as long as you're still owning the property. And even after then, it can still provide some coverage afterwards.
Okay. So, and with that being said, there's different levels of coverage for owner's title insurance policy, right?
Yeah. So title insurance companies, they have their trade industry, their group, and they basically no matter which title insurance company you're using, they offer two types of policies: a basic and an enhanced policy. And as the name suggests, the enhanced gives a little bit more coverage, covers some additional things that the basic does. One of the major things is it provides a little more coverage if you pass away and your heirs go to sell the property and they find a title defect. Your heirs can make a claim on an enhanced policy. The value of the home goes up over the first 5 years. The amount of coverage you have under the enhanced policy goes up to, I think, 150% in value for the first 5 years. So, like in this market where we've had substantial increase in the value of homes over the 5 years, there's a lot of people that you and I have done closings with. The value of their homes is a lot more now than it was 5 years ago. If you have an enhanced policy, that extra equity they've
kind of grown with
it for the first 5 years, unlike a basic, which you're locked in at. You'll be covered the sales price. So you'll get your money that you put in back out of a basic, but an enhanced, you can get even more
with the equity.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
awesome.
And if your clients have a cash transaction, then obviously it's not going to be just like $100, $200 to tack on to a lender's policy. We would run a quote for your clients and tell them how much it would be for an owner's policy only when there is no lender.
Okay. All right. Fantastic. Well, I think that covers all the questions that I have. Do you have anything else you want to throw in about title insurance?
I would never buy property in South Carolina without it. Even if it's a defect that's not going to cause you to lose your house, it might be a defect that is fixable, but it's a lot quicker to fix if you have title insurance. Meaning you go to sell the house 3 years later and we find a defect. Title insurance can often fix it very quickly and keep your second transaction when you're selling it on the timetable to sell it without a major delay.
Okay, awesome. So to sum it all up, it sounds like this is title insurance is certainly worth paying for and getting.
Yes.
And it's one of those things where it's a one-time cost. So if you don't need it and you have it, then no big deal. But if you end up needing it, but you don't have it, you're going to wish you had it.
It's like all types of insurance, the joke. No one likes insurance until you need it.
Gotcha.
And that's exactly what it is. And
awesome.
So, yeah.
All right. Hey, thank you for your time.
Thank you, man. I appreciate the invite.
And thank you guys for watching. Hope you have a blessed day. If you ever have any real estate questions or anything that we can do for you here at the Hood Team, please give us a call, 803-730-2512.